Hello, everybody, and welcome to hopefully what is the first of many after shows for each episode here on Lost Initiative Show. This is going to take place of War Stories over on the Patreon thing. War Stories was an idea me and Scott had. Then, unfortunately, it came to the realization we natty one it, basically. Didn't have enough time to do what we wanted. Yeah, wait, what? Oof. Wait, natty one it? So instead, we're going to do after shows after every episode. About 10 or so minutes, 5 to 10 minutes of just talking about what happened this week. Favorite parts, stressful parts, that kind of thing. And, usually Scott will be the one opening these things, but here we are. What an episode.
I mean, I will gladly start with saying one thing, and then I definitely want to toss it to you guys. My absolute favorite part as a DM, from the DM's perspective, and Mike and I have already talked about this on stream beforehand, but taking a CR2 monster, a monster that's like not that tough, you put it in the right scenario with PCs that don't know the stats, its features, so on and so forth, don't know that it has an AC of 6 and a move speed of 15. And they like, how do we handle the situation? Oh my God, I don't know what to do. And then it becomes a legitimately difficult encounter because they don't realize a natural 1 would hit.
It was great. It was so good.
It was beautiful.
I felt like
Hold on. I was already inside of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then there was the panic of afterward of like you guys not knowing what it is and how do you deal with it and getting sucked into it another time and stuff. It was great.
Scott told me it was invisible.
See, you did well.
I didn't call this out at the time, but I believe I was described as being 20 to 25 feet away from it whenever I cast a spell. But I think it double moved to absorb me, and I didn't know it could do that. I didn't know it could move and literally call that an attack. So I thought I was a safe distance away.
Yeah, well, because if it just steps into your square, you get a saving throw, dexterity.
Right. Yeah.
And that's how you avoid
Well, now
that.
I know. I don't know how fast did you say it moved? 15?
15 so doubles to 30 feet or more, yeah.
Okay, so I got to stay 35 feet away
unless it's a rogue.
A rogue gelatinous cube.
No, it was really fun to just watch you kind of like poke at it and like scientifically learn how this thing works. Be like, all right, what do we do?
Dude, I will lie. We just did 12d6 damage to Wade in like 2 persons' turns on 1 round of initiative.
Under the right circumstances, anything can F anything else up in this.
I didn't have much of a chance there.
I played ultra support that entire time. I got thunk out of the bottom.
You did.
Because I was like, he's going to get consumed.
But even before that, you played support even in the combat before that. Last session where you guys are fighting the golem, because you threw up a wall to defend, you teleported away, you attacked.
It's funny because I think it was last time when we leveled up, I was like, I really don't want to play a support role, guys. Like, this doesn't sound fun. And now I'm like, okay, Fire Step is a lot of fun. Again, we kind of homebrewed it a bit. But
and even Haste is a great spell to throw out there, especially at the same time as Quicken.
Taken away.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
Especially as you do that at the same time as Quicken a firebolt at the same, so you can like firebolt somebody and haste Tyler at the same time. So you can actually like do more than one thing in a round because you have Quicken.
It's almost like sorcerers have useful abilities and spells, and warlocks are built to be like just garbage fire.
Again, it's literally specifically your design of warlock requires a specific.
You are a special kind of suck.
My specific design of warlock has been like. Scott, Wade, that one looks good for you, Wade. Or that one.
I like how Wade uses
depends on the design.
4 spells. He's like, well, I'm spent.
4? I wish. That's double my allotment. I get 2.
But these past few sessions have actually been good for Wade because he's so used to casting 2 spells that he's like, I cast 2-3 spells. I cast 2 spells. Short rest. I'm good, boys.
Yeah,
the short rests are very important.
I need long rest because all of my spells and all of my abilities with the flame on and stuff like that require me to long rest.
Getting the ability to have cats, the cat nap, I don't know how we can get that into the party's hands, but if we can get cat nap into the party, it would actually be really good because if somebody's doing 1 ritual cast, like Mike just did earlier, a ritual cast, takes 10 minutes. Cat nap takes 10 minutes. So you can get Wade all of his spells back in that. It's like,
it's nice.
So worth it.
It's
really
so
worth it. But that's future.
How do you guys feel about where the story's kind of at right now?
I honestly, my favorite part, even though it's like against Beishra in a negative way, was literally the fact that Thonk made a better deal, but also revealed the fact that Beishra had basically circumvented this guy's deal originally with regard to this, to the High Priestess, because he saw her as useful for the fact of being in the library, her ability to read languages and all of that. That it's negative towards Bayshore with regard to his respect and his like kinship with this guy, but it's also like I like seeing how the story comes together and how different things. It's like, oh no, now this is revealed, so it looks bad in this way, and I just find that really interesting in and of itself.
And each little thing that happened, it would have taken one very small decision different to have it spin in a wildly different direction. Like everything could have been very, very different. I'm curious if Scott even planned for me to bring this guy down there. I imagine the answer is no. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't want to give anything away.
Fair.
I like where the story's at. I think for me, if we're going back to the favorite question, where the story's at, are kind of combined. It's been fun. Like I'm still a relatively new D&D player. Star Wars was the first campaign I joined, and playing as Siam, I didn't really have a concept in mind as to who he was. But with Vicelor and with Mortifer, I created them as like they're both flawed characters for their own reasons. Vicelor is a oddly charismatic, crazy old man who people are like, I mean, he has a point, but also ew. And Mortifer is like a lovable, big, dumb brute. But it's been fun watching Tyler and Pat from the start of this campaign being Tyler and Pat to slowly kind of morph into your characters a little bit more. And like, I'm not going to lie, Pat, I forgot all about your teleportation abilities. When you slid down next to Thonk, I was like, these fucking idiots.
Oh, you all did. Scott's like, what is he? What is that?
I won't lie. You got me.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I honestly was thinking, oh my gosh, I'm finally going to get sneak attack. They're next to the creature. And then
I'm with you though, Wade, because like it's part of that, like taking somebody who's played video games their whole life and showing them like those video game walls don't exist in this game. Like there are no walls. It's just what you want to do. So, you know, early on, the very first episodes, watching you approach combat and your decisions were all very rigid, and like if you do this in a video game, it kind of goes like this. And then watching all of that kind of peel away, and as you fill in your character's shoes and figure out who they are, that's the magic of D&D for me. Is
Well, I'm not gonna lie. One of the reasons I picked Vicelord and made him a warlock was I was reading up on the different classes, and I just found forum after forum talking about how warlock is the worst class in 5e. And I was like, and my thought was, I was like, well, I want Vicelord to be kind of like not useless, but not like a pivotal,
slightly inept
fighting. Yeah, I wanted him to not be good at what. That's why he keeps failing. His entire life is failure. And the concept of building like a class that many see as like not the best in the world, I was like,
these are power gamers saying, I want to do the most power stuff possible. And there are ways to literally like break the game by doing like the caffeine lock and stuff like that. But that doesn't matter.
Every tabletop has ways to bust it. That's the thing.
Yeah,
like, there's always ways to break
Warlock is a cheaty way to go about that. But that's only if you're looking for power gaming. I actually, going back to what Mike and then Wade were saying before, we've been spoiled, Mike, because we got to see Wade and Tyler's first ever characters.
Yeah.
But more important than that, we got to see their second ever characters where they do exactly what Wade said. You went to, I design me being me, playing a thing.
You find what's most familiar to you.
I find, and I mature as a player. And maybe you didn't get to see with Tyler, but I get to see Tyler over my other channel where I get to see him playing a second character. And it's very different how he approaches it. And unfortunately, Maggie stole our opportunity to do that with Pat. He got to have his second character on Maggie's channel. So Maggie, if you're seeing this,
So
you get to see that transition.
My other character was a trash witch. Very different than Syax. I lived in trash. I ate trash. I was trash.
I agree. You still are.
Yes, I was a trashy panda. So yeah, very different. I took things very differently than how I do now.
But that's what I mean, though, is your approach now was of complete and utter ignorance, no understanding of like you understand the basic concepts, but no understanding the game, how it works, so on and so forth. And literally you just try to figure things out. And then the next time you're like, oh, I have enough experience on how to approach it differently. And we didn't get to watch that.
Kind of like how Mike said earlier, when you grow up playing video games, like I've grown up playing indies, playing shooters, playing all kinds of different games, RPGs like Skyrim and Wizard and stuff. And it's so laid out for you. When I played, like, this is like my first D&D thing, I thought of that way. I'm like, okay, I have to kill that one thing. And now it's like, it's so open world. It's the best way I could describe it is I could do really, I don't need to teleport and get Wade. Let Wade die. He let me die.
We can all
I
come
didn't,
together as four
but-
characters and say "F you" this plot and walk to the other side of the world if we want to. Like that's
Yeah.
that's what makes me D&D Magic. We can just say I don't want to do this, and this world is open to us. It's up to Scott. Luckily, he's been doing this for almost this whole friggin' life. Like, you know what I mean? Like he has the ability to, okay, you know this world. You've known Faerun since it was basically around. We could go there and Scott could just be like, all right, here's what's going on over here at this time, and here's who dominates, and here's
Usually read one paragraph and I rember stuff.
Yeah,
It's actually-
exactly.
It's actually funny. So what happens? Different campaigns. Was talking about this one. Sorry, but like I ran a session this morning over elsewhere, and I had a dungeon crawl set up with like a whole bunch of people. Whatever. They ended up kind of beelining towards the leader, getting the leaders crazy high intimidation checks, like 26s, got them to like, okay, we'll do what you say. Okay, rally up your men, tell them that we're going to let them free, so on and so forth. We just need a da-da-da. Okay, he made a super high bluff check. We're going to let you all go. We just need to finish the situation, disarmed everybody, so on and so forth, and then executed every one of them. And it was one of those things where it was a dungeon crawl that turned into a couple of die rolls and a non-roll execution. And it was like me as a DM just like watching the ideas of the PC come up with what they're going to do, the dice working in their favor, and watching this. I'm literally like, cool, I get this dungeon set up and it falls out of my hands.
yeah.
It's like you baked a cake and brought it to somebody's house and they went, whacked one of your arms and the thing hit the ground.
They're like, sorry, we're pie people.
But I like it when my PCs do that because right, I'm gonna have that buzzing in the back of my head. At one point in time today, I've had a crazy day today, as you guys know. At one point in time today, I stepped away from Discord for like 3 hours. I came back and on one chat channel, 250 something messages just about that one scenario. So I like it when you guys do what Mike just described. I like it when you say, okay, this is the box that he put us in. As long as you're not like ruining the overarch.
Right.
This is the box he's kind of confining for us. Okay, cool. We can walk through the rat maze or knock down the walls and just fucking come at it from a different angle. And I can't expect everything. So it's like when you catch me off guard, I love it. Love it so much. So
I mean, were you expecting Bayshore to go off on his own, leaving the church or the library? I mean?
do you think I was expecting that shit? Does anybody expect this? I was like, solo session?
We gotta figure this out.
Wayne and I were talking about that. We're
Oh
like,
my gosh.
Mike asked you like or Scott asked you like, are you sure you want to go?
Like, that's what my character would do. He's literally been confined following orders for so long.
I respect that highly. Whenever a player can finally say, my character would do this even if I wouldn't, that's when you know you found the D&D magic.
My one critique about that would be you can't always get away with that. It happened to timelines and everything. It just happened to work in a way where I was like, oh, Tyler, we can do a solo session. You want to do it? And everybody was like, yeah, this kind of works out. And we were able to make it work. And it worked perfect. I fucking love that session too. It was so much fun. It was so much fun. And you know what's funny too is there were like parts earlier in the session was like, do you want to head back? Do you want to head back? And you're like, no. And you ended up going from where I was like, okay, he did a good job to you found like almost like unlocks 3 or 4 more secrets as you went because you found other little rabbit holes to kind of jump down and made more shit happen. Like the ogre thing early on was like cool. They didn't know that I had this going in the back of my head. You discovered this nifty. That was cool. But then like you found so much more after that. And I was like, it was just nice.
Yeah, I got my puppo who's been helpful at this point. I didn't
Don't
want to
get
die.
used to that. Watch
Oh, I know.
watch last Thursday's episode whenever players decide to not listen to Scott's like, are you sure? Are you sure?
Yeah, but I
sure?
listen. I made that decision knowing the consequences that were to follow if I was wrong in my assumption. And so here we are.
I will say Bayshore does have a little hidden secret in his pocket that
Is it only little? That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
No, it's
Sorry, man.
It could be
It's a lizard thing.
A good thing with regard.
You told us it coils up before.
But it forks.
A forked penis?
Oh God! All right, continue. Sorry, Tyler.
What is this? What's going on? What is it? Are you thinking it's
Lizards?
Don't look it up. This is not worth Aftershow. Nobody wants to pay for this.
Tyler, finish your thought.
Yeah, please finish your thought, Tyler.
So that's snakes and alligators.
He has blackmailing stuff that could be of useful in working with the Thieves Guild.
That's dope.
Be of value to them.
And that stuff wouldn't have happened if you didn't make that decision.
Yep.
Which is what makes D&D so friggin' awesome. So
I don't want to spoil everything about the Thursday show, but last Thursday
we'll have our own Thursday after shows, Wade. So
we're gonna have our own Thursday after shows.
if you're game, we're gonna do.
Yeah, no, I'm game.
Yeah,
'Cause there's a lot.
That's what I'm saying. So why don't you hold that? We've got tomorrow still, and we'll
That's fair.
even if Jake has to run, we can still do the three of us chatting real quick for.
No, that's fine. But as far as this,
Jake got children.
Yeah, Jake got bebes.
I will just say I love whenever people they play their characters the way their characters would be played.
Yeah. That's what
But
brings
it
the
is
world to
funny
life.
see when Scott's like, he's trying his hardest to be like, don't fucking do it. And they're like, I'm going to do it.
But honest to God, like some of the best stories I have been able to live through with Scott or since I've known him have come purely out of choices where
I can
Scott
tell.
has been
Otherwise, I
like,
don't think you'd still be doing
exactly. You just don't know. You don't know what's going to happen. And it's great.
Yeah.
And it's great. But I'm excited to see what happens in a couple weeks. We'll be back in a couple weeks, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the after show. If you do, let us know in the Discord. If you're watching this, then you have Discord access. So chat us up in the Discord, and we can chat with you guys as well. And,
If you didn't enjoy it, though, shut the fuck up.
see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.